Okay, we're gonna start. Zat Hashem, this shiur gonna be a refuah of all Cholem Yisrael, and to release the quick release of all the hostages soon to their home, Zat Hashem, and to the success of all of Chayalei Tzva Hagana Israel. Right now is a lot of fights going on, middle of the night in Gaza, so Zat Hashem, that's gonna be for their Hatzlacha. In 2 nights we're gonna get to Chanukah, Chag Chanukah, and this series look that Chanukah is come even with more power, with more related to this these times that we are on, that we are much fewer than those than our enemies, but Be'ezrat Hashem we're gonna win, the same like the Hashmonaim one. I'm gonna start with Parashat Shavua because always, every year, Parashat Vayeshev is either before Chanukah or the beginning of Chanukah. So this year, Parashat Vayeshev is the second day of Chanukah. Always something, and it's something related in there. So first, in the Gemara that speak about Chanukah, and Chanukah we don't have a Masechet in the Gemara. If you look, all the Chagim, there is a Masechet, there is something, there is a book in the Gemara, in the Mishnah, that speak about the Chag. Shabbat is the biggest Chag that we have, and Masechet Shabbat is the longest Masechet. And we have Yomah for Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, of course, for Rosh Hashanah, Pesachim for Pesach, Masechet Sukkah for Sukkot, Megillah for Purim, but we don't have any Masechet for Chanukah. One of the reasons because it was a lot later. It's the latest Chag that we got. In the Jewish calendar, it's the latest one that was in the history. It was almost 200 years after the story of Purim. Now, some of the laws of Chanukah brought in Masechet Shabbat in the period that we all know, Bava Madlikim, chapter that speak about lighting the candles of Shabbat. So there is also lighting the candles of Chanukah, because it's similar, and there is the only mitzvah in Chanukah is lighting the candle. Eating donuts is not a mitzvah, even though people like it. But the mitzvah of Chanukah is lighting the candles, so it's brought inside Masechet Shabbat in the speech of the candles of Shabbat. Now in there, among all the talking about the Halachot of Shabbat, the Gemara just stop for a moment and speak about one pasuk in our parasha. The pasuk say like this: after the brothers of Yosef in our parasha threw him to the pit, the Torah tell us, stop for a moment and say what the pit was. So we're gonna say, who cares? But the Torah say, Ve'habor rek en bo mayim. The pit was empty without water in it. And the Gemara asked right away a question that everyone can ask the question. I told this pasuk 2 days ago in school, and yesterday, and few of the kids told me right away the question. The question is, why the Torah repeat? If the pit is empty, meaning there is no water in it, right, why you need to repeat? And the Torah is precise. So if you see it in the newspaper, okay, so they try to fill the page. So they add more. It was empty without water. He was poor without money. He was hungry without eating. So that's how people are going to speak. But the Torah going to speak, everything is precise to the letter. So if it's empty, there is no water. The Gemara says, since the Torah added the words en bo mayim, there is no water in it, meaning it will come to tell us something. That water there wasn't in it. The pit was empty from water. But what was in there? Nachashim ve'akravim yeshbo. There was snakes and scorpions inside. Because every pit that you don't have water, at that time, wells and water, like water sources, was very common. That was the water from. But where there was no water, there was a place, a hide, like a cave for those snakes and scorpions. So that's what the Gemara say within the speaking about the laws of Chanukah, and then continue as if nothing happened to the story of Chanukah, to another laws of Chanukah. And many ask, what is the connection? You're discussing about Chanukah in here. You stop for a moment, give me a pasuk, okay, beautiful idea, beautiful understanding from the Torah, and then continue to Chanukah. What is the connection? So first the connection is that Vayeshev is always in Chanukah. So we speak about one thing in Chanukah, but why this pasuk? And it's going to show us what happened in that time. In that time, who was control? Who was our enemy? The Greeks, Yavan. And we say it in Al Nisim, Kshamda Malchut Yavan Aresha, the kingdom of Yavan, this bad and very strong kingdom, they came over us, and there was the only enemy They didn't come to kill us. Different than every other enemy we had. All the enemies before tried to kill us, and most of them did so. From the last ones, like Hamas and Hezbollah, to the first ones, like Lavan and Esav, they tried to kill us. All of them tried to kill our body. Going through Nazism, Achshimam, and all through the history, pogroms, they tried to kill our body, tried to kill Am Yisrael. They not knew. Hamas not invented the hating to Am Yisrael, not the anti-Semites. There was, and Be'ezrat Hashem is going to end very soon, but always in our history, for more than 3,000 years, that's what's going on. So much so that the Gemara say, what is the reason Har Sinai is called Har Sinai? The mountain we got the Torah on, because from this mountain comes Sin'atu of the Kochavim. The other nations start hating us from this mountain. Because of what we got the Torah on Har Sinai, meaning we are the chosen people. Since then they start hating us. It's not because of land, it's not because of money, it's not because we are successful, not because we are a startup nation. They hate us. First they hate us. Then they try to think of reasons. But first they hate us. Now the only enemy that didn't try to kill our body was Yavan. Yavan, they had one goal. And it's even worse than what the others try to do. Their goal was, as we say in our Nisim, בימי מתתיה בן יוחנן כהן גדול חשמונאי ובניו, שעמדה מלכות יוון הרשעה על עמך ישראל לשכחם תורתך ולהעבירם מחוקי רצונך. What they try to do is לשכחם תורתך, to make us forget the Torah and to remove us from doing the mitzvot. That was their goal, and that's what was their mission, and they were successful in their mission. They did. We know the end result of the story, but it was years that they was there in control. And many of the Jews really followed them. They was called Mityavnim, people that became Greeks. They are the ones that started everything with the stadiums and the gladiators. They built a stadium down from Har HaBayit, from the Temple Mount. So Bet HaMikdash was here, you go down, there was a big stadium with the gladiators. They fight in there. Many of the Kohanim used to work in Bet HaMikdash, finish their job, and go down to the stadium. They brought the sport to the world. Sport after the name Sparta in Greek. So that was their mission. For us not to follow the Torah. And we know it from their decrees. They had a lot of decrees over the Jews. Not to learn Torah, not to do Brit Milah, not to keep Shabbat, not to do Kiddush HaChodesh, to sanctify the new moon. So many things that they try to do have nothing to do with our life. You can live, no problem. We're even going to help you live and live even better. You're going to have sport. You're going to be strong. Just don't add God into the story. One of the decrees they had is that the Jews must write on their bull's horn, because they used to walk with cows and bulls when they plow the field. So on the horn to write, En li chelek be'Eloi Israel. I don't have a part in the God of Am Yisrael. Meaning when you walk, that's what you're going to see all day. Meaning it's only me. Who make money? Me. Who is successful? Me. Through who? Through me. That's it. It's my power. Kochi ve'otzem yadi. That's what they try to do. Now, what is the connection to this pasuk we said before? That the Torah, the Gemara come to tell us that the Torah even hinted it more than 1,000 years before the Greek even came. They tried to remove the Torah from us. And the Gemara say, the pasuk that speak about throwing yourself to the pit, said, Abo rek en bo mayim. The pit was empty without water. We know that water represents also the Torah. As it says, Hoi kol tzameh lechu lamayim. If you are thirsty, spiritually thirsty, go to Torah. Many people feel emptiness from the inside. In our society especially, they go either to the pills, they go to a lot of pleasures to do, but it's not going to fill them, because it's not physical emptiness. It's not that they are lacking something physically. They are lacking something spiritually. So you cannot fill spiritual void with physical things. If you're going to eat a steak, it's not going to fill your neshama. It's just going to fill your body. So maybe you feel satisfaction, but after a few minutes, it's gone. And you feel emptiness again. You feel the void again. So the Torah say, "Ve'abo rek en bo mayim." When the pit is empty, and pit is referred to your Torah, to your body, to your neshama. When the pit is empty, without water, without the Torah, then what you have in it is not going to be empty. It must be filled with something. מים אין בו, אבל נחשים ועקרבים יש בו. When you don't have water inside, you don't have the Torah inside, then out of negativity start rising up. The snakes, the scorpions, the fights, the problems within the inside home, outside, at work, bad speech, all of this is going to come because of this lacking of water, of Torah in the person. So the Torah tried to show us that, the Gemara tried to show us that the void that the Greeks tried to do is gonna the end of it gonna be a lot worse than this, because you're gonna be filled with negativities. It's like at that time, a little after, the Romans also had a similar decree, and it was in the time of Rabbi Akiva. They had a decree not to learn Torah, not to teach Torah, and of course we know Rabbi Akiva always did it, and he was executed because of this. So one time, the Gemara said that Papus, one of the people, a Jew, he saw Rabbi Akiva and he saw him teaching Torah. Told him, what are you going to do? What are you doing? They're going to catch you. They're going to throw you to jail. They're going to kill you after. He said, listen, I'm going to give you a mashal to what is similar to. It's similar to a fox that's going next to the water. And then he saw a lot of fish escaping from the nets, from the rods in there. So he told them, why are you escaping in here? You're afraid of the water because of the fishermen. So just come up to the dry land, and we're going to live together, the same like our forefathers lived together. They told him, you're stupid. If in the place of our life, in the water, we are afraid, so outside of it, all the more so we're going to be afraid. So he told them, that's the same thing in here. In the place that our life is the Torah, as we say every night, we say before Kriyat Shema, Ki em chayenu ve'orech yemenu v'hem ne'egeh yom v'layla. This is the life. This is our life and the length of the life. And with this, we're going to dwell for day and night. That's what we say about the Torah. So if with the Torah, for the Torah, we are escaping and we're hiding from the enemies, from those Romans or Greeks, so without it, it's going to be even worse. So Rabbi Akiva learned Torah until the end of his life. And we know he was one of the 10 Harogei Malchut. It was killed because they are Jewish. So that's like this pasuk, this connection, come to show us what one of the reasons that the Greeks came is to l'shakcham Toratecha, to make us forget the Torah and then adapt their culture. They try to enforce their culture on us. And one of the definitions that the Chachamim, Chazal, call this kingdom of the Greeks, the Yevanim, they came leachshich. In the pasuk of the second pasuk of Bereshit, is hinted to all the enemies that we had, all the big kingdom that came over us. He say, בראשית ברא לנו את השמיים ואת הארץ, והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני תהום, ורוח אלוהים מרחפת על פני המים. So he said, Tohu is referred to Bavel. Bohu is referred to Paras. V'choshech is referred to Yavan. Al Pnei Tehom is referred to Edom, which is the last exile that was still in it. But Choshech, the word Choshech represents the Greeks. Yavan. So you need to understand, it's not Choshech, it's not darkness. Why? They have a lot of wisdom. Philosophy came from them. Democracy came from them. Almost all the world will see something in the end came from them. So how Chachamim define it as darkness when it's not darkness? It brought a lot of light to the world. Until today, the Greek culture is in the front. People like the first thing people speak about is sport. All day, they spend so much money for sport, merchandise of sport, gold and time just for sport. Even not playing, not doing sport, just watching people do sport. So it's brought something to the world. But every time when you have real light and fake light together, so one dim the other. So when the Greeks came to Yerushalayim, came to Eretz Israel, they dimmed the light that we had as Jews. That's why many people left. So that's why it's called Choshech in the pasuk of in the Torah, in the beginning of Parashat Bereshit. It says, "V'choshech al pnei tehom" refer to the Greeks. That's why in this holiday, what we do? We light. To fight the darkness. We are not fighting it with swords because they didn't try to come to us with swords. It wasn't their goal. They could have destroyed Am Yisrael with their power they had. But they tried just to dim the light of the Torah. Dim the light of Am Yisrael. And that's what they did all through the story of Chanukah. We see it. With the decrees they had. And then one of the most famous story that all of us remember from school, that the Hashmonaim, after they won, miraculously, it was, you cannot explain it in any way how they won, because the Greeks have a huge army with artillery, with elephants of war. They had a special elephants they trained to fight. And the Hashmonaim was just a group of Kohanim, untrained, all day just working Bet HaMikdash, so they know how to kill, but just animals. They know how to shecht animals. They not resist to them. And now need to fight. How they fought? Nes. Cannot explain it in another way. And we say it also in Al-Nisim. ואתה ברחמך אתה רבת את ריבם, you fought their fight, דנת את דינם לקחת נקמתם, מסרת גיבורים ביד חלשים, you gave the mighty in the hand of the weak. רבים ביד מעטים, there was many, it was few, it was little. טמאים ביד טהורים, רשעים ביד צדיקים. It just comes to show us that the fight wasn't only a physical fight. Because if it was physical fight, who cared that there was Tameh and who was Tahor? That there was Reshaim and who was Tzadikim? Who cares? They are fighting. No, it also was spiritual fight. It was a fight, intellectual fight, it was mental fight also. But there was Reshaim and who was Tzadikim. Now after all of this, Baruch Hashem, we won, and that's the reason of the name of the Chag. Chanukah can divide it to two words, Chanu, Kafhei, meaning there was resting from the war in Kafhei Kislev. That's the first day of Chanukah. Kafhei Kislev going to be this Thursday night. So they was resting from the war, they won, and the first thing they did, before going home, before hug their family and have all the videos with the soldiers come and hug their kids with the song in the background. Before all of this, the first thing they did, go into Bet HaMikdash. ואחר כך באו בניך לדביר ביתך. Afterwards, your children, the Kohanim, came to דביר ביתך. דביר is the name of Bet HaMikdash. ופינו את היכליך ותיארו את מקדשך. They cleared everything, they clean it, because after the Greeks, they make a big mess in there. And then they try to do one thing. והדליקו נרות בחצרות קודשך, to light the candles after so many days that they wasn't able to light the candles in the Bet HaMikdash, because it wasn't in our hand. They was in control there. So they came to light, to signify, to show, symbolize that we won, and now our light is still on. But there was one problem. They enter Bet HaMikdash, they go into the oil storage, and there was no oil to light. There was oil, plenty of oil, but it's not good for light. What the Greeks did? So many people think they came and they spill all the water, all the oil. But no. The only thing they did is tim'u kol hashmanim. They contaminate all the oil that was in there. Because in Bet HaMikdash, like every other thing, not only with the oil, everything's supposed to be tahor. It's supposed to be pure. Not only physically, but spiritually. It's supposed to be pure. That everything needs to be done and made, and the process needs to be in tahara. Now, that's something that the Greeks didn't like. They say what we see is exist. What we not see is not exist. You can see God? No, he does not exist. You can see purity and impurity? No, it does not exist. That's what their philosophy. What we see in here, we see our body, we see our weapon, we see our power, and that's it. That's what exists. The rest is not. If you cannot see it with your eye, you are the superior, you are supreme being. If you can see it, meaning it exists. If you cannot, it's not. They said that one time there was a Jewish kid going to public school, and the teacher said there is no God. Why? Logically, you cannot see him, he does not exist. So he said, teacher, can I tell you something? You're not going to be mad? He said, yes, you can say it. Say, you don't have brain. Why you say such a thing? Say, I cannot see it. If I cannot see it, according to your logic, if I cannot see it, it does not exist. So that's what the Greeks hold. They held that if you cannot see it, If you take right now, logically, let's take this. It's the same cup with the same contents inside, the same water inside. You take it to the lab, you check the molecules. Before someone tameh touched the cup and after. It's the same thing. Nothing changed. If nothing changed, meaning Tumah and Tahara is fake, it's nothing. And the Jews didn't agree to it. Everything we have is about Tumah and Tahara. We woke up in the morning, what's the first thing we do? After Modani, Netilat Yadayim. Why Netilat Yadayim? Your hands is Tameh. Can you see Tumah? See billions of people not wash their hands in the morning. Barely the face. So what? They are Tameh? What they do? They are still alive. What is Tumah? But we come and say, no. There is something we cannot see. There is something above and beyond what we know, what we can see, what we can comprehend in our mind. Not everything we can understand. Something we can learn. Nowadays, it's a lot easier to understand that there is something that can really affect, even though you cannot see them. Radiation, for example.
It's energy.
Energy. Radio waves. All of these things that today, it's proved scientifically. It exists. You cannot see it. You go, I don't know, take an X-ray. Why a doctor do? Go outside and do it. Why? Because if you're going to be inside the whole day, when you take the X-rays, he's going to get harm a lot because of the radiation in there. It's high radiation. So you come once in a while, so it's not really going to affect you. But for a doctor, the whole day is there with a lot of X-rays, it's going to affect him. COVID, same thing, viruses. And something we cannot see, barely in microscope they see it, and it's shut down the whole world for more than 2 years. Until today, we see results of this. But you cannot see it. So today is a lot easier to understand there is something we cannot see and there is a big effect to them. But at that time, they wasn't even aware of any viruses or anything. So they say if we cannot see it, it does not exist. So Tumah and Tahara does not exist. When they came to Beit HaMikdash, the first thing they tried, the first thing they did is to fight this idea. You come, it's a beautiful building, and the Greek was all about beauty. You can go to Greece, you see a lot of statues, you see a lot of fountains. Everything was about beauty. Beauty of the body and beauty of buildings and all of those things. So they came. It's a beautiful building. Beit HaMikdash was a huge, very, very good looking. It was built. The second Beit HaMikdash was a little less than the first one. The first one was a lot better. The Beit HaMikdash of Shlomo HaMelech. It was destroyed by the Bavlim, and then the second one was built by Ezra. Not that nice. A little after the time of Hashmonaim, Horus came and made a renovation in there. It's become a lot nicer. So much so that we say, Mishelo ra'a binyan Hordus, lo ra'a binyan afeh miyamav. If someone didn't saw the binyan, the Beit HaMikdash, that Hordus renovated, he never saw a beautiful building in his life. So you think, yeah, I saw this, I saw Taj Mahal, it's nothing compared to Beit HaMikdash after Hordus renovated it. So before it also was very beautiful. The Greek came and said, it's very nice, we're not going to destroy it. You didn't even try to destroy it. We're gonna leave it like this, let them walk in here, no problem. Just don't believe in God, don't believe that there is something beyond what you can see. So when they came, they go into where all the oil was, and the way they used to keep the oil in Beit HaMikdash, it was in jars, in kadim, that was closed and sealed. Because if there is clay that is closed and sealed, even if tameh, if someone that is unpure, touch it, nothing gonna happen to the inside. So the outside may be tameh, but the inside is still tahor because it's sealed. So everything was sealed, and the proof for it, there was like a stamp of Kohen Gadol. Every oil, every like jar they filled, they close it. There was a Kohen Gadol come, put the sealing with a stamp on it, and that's how they know. They put everything like this. When the Greeks came, they opened the sealing. They just touch the oil, put it back. Touch the oil, put it back. Everything is still there. Meaning after Hashmonaim 1, go, light it, no problem. Still have all the oil. We never even a drop it didn't spill. But just they make it tameh. So when they came, they saw everything open, meaning everything is contaminated, everything is tameh. We cannot light it like this. Even though they could find the mefarshim, some asked, but Halachically, you can light it like this. Because tum'ah otra betzibur. Is one of the halachot of Beit HaMikdash that when there is a tzibur that are tmeim, when majority of Am Yisrael are tameh, there is some leniencies, permissible way to do the work in Beit HaMikdash even while you are tameh. Let's say right now, Bezrat Hashem soon gonna be Pesach. If Mashiach not gonna come until Pesach, we have the option to make Korban Pesach on Har HaBayit. The problem is not our status right now. The problem is those faxes that are there on Har HaBayit. That's the problem. The problem is the government. The problem is this is the problem. Without them, we are able to go to take a lamb, go to Har HaBayit, to shecht it, to make Korban Pesach and eat it on the Leil HaSeder. Why? Because if only certain people, minority was Tmei, we cannot do it. But if majority of Am Yisrael Tmeim, Tum'ah otra betzibur. We can do stuff while we are Tmeim, or the object is Tameh, because majority are Tmeim. So at that time, majority was Tmeim, and all the oil was Tameh. They could have do it. But the Hashmonaim didn't want to. They said, all of our fight against the Greeks was for this. Now we're gonna, lower our head for their ideology? We don't want it. We are rather not light the candles than light it like they want us to light the candles. So they was looking all over until they found kad echad, one jar of oil that was still sealed. They didn't saw it, Baruch Hashem, the Greeks. It was left somewhere and they found it. The problem was that it was that small that you can light only for one day. Because there was 7 branches in the menorah. It wasn't like us that we have 9 with the shamash. It was 7, and you need to fill up the cups to be lit for the whole day. Now, if you're gonna fill all the cups, it's gonna be enough only for one day. And as we know, Baruch Hashem, we had a nest of 8 days instead of one day that is gonna be lit. For 8 days, the menorah was light consistent for 8 days, because to make new oil, there was 8 days needed for this. 7 days to purify themselves, because you cannot make oil right away. They are tmeim, they are after a war. They touch dead people, they killed, they are tmeimet. Even if it was needed, it was of course, but they are tmeim right now. They need to purify themselves. To purify yourself from tum'at met, from dead person, from death impurity, you need to go through a process of 7 days. You need 7 days, not to get near any dead person or cemetery. And in this 3rd and 7th day, you need to be sprinkled with efer para aduma. With this red heifer, they sprinkle with the water, and after that 7 days, you are tahor. So 7 days to do this. 1 day to process the oil, because it's also a long process. It's supposed to be shemen zayit zach. Shemen zayit zach katit lamaor. It's supposed to be oil. They take the olive, they squeeze it. The first drop that go out, that's going to be for the menorah. The rest cannot be used for this. That's zach katit. It must be only the first drop. Now you need to make a lot of oil. Just imagine how many olives you need. The rest you not throw to the garbage. You produce other oil for other things in Beit HaMikdash. But only the first drop, so it's a whole day it took for them. So in the 9th day, they was able to light from the new oil. But all these 8 days, it was must come from that oil. It was the nest oil. So we see that Hashem made for them a miracle that it wasn't even needed. You could have light with this oil you have. But since all the war against the Yevanim was with this concept, if there is purity and impurity or not, so Hashem say, I want to show the whole world, yes, there is Tum'ah and Tahara, and there is even something more than this. There is Hashem that control nature and can decide that even though by nature this oil is enough only for 1 day, maybe 2 days, but 8 days, it's not possible. To kids today, they explain it like this. Let's say you have 10% in the battery. It's going to last for an hour. And then for 8 hours without charge. Wow, now they understand. Tell them about oil, they not understand. I told them today in 2nd grade, let's say in the tablet you have it like this for 10%. They was excited. 10% for 8 hours, yes. Yes, that's Nes. Nes Pachat tablet. It can happen like this. So, and we say that it was needed a miracle just to show the whole world there is God behind it that controls nature. There's very similarness to this. But we're going to bring it first with there is a question of Rabbi Yosef Karo. It's the most famous question about Chanukah. To this question, and that shows that the Jew is all about questions. To this question there is a whole book that was written as answers to the question. There is 1,000 answers to one question. And the question that today even one of the kids in school asked me, that is really, if you just think a little bit about the story of Chanukah, you're going to have this. How many days we celebrate for Chanukah? 8 days. How many candles we light for Chanukah? So 8 days. 9 is a shamash. But 8 days, we add another candle every night. So we light 8 candles to commemorate the miracle of the 8 days of the miracle. How many days was the miracle? 7 days. Why? Because the oil was enough for 1 day. Meaning one you had. Now extra 7 days is only 7 days miracle. So why we celebrate 8? Supposed to celebrate 7, like Pesach, 7 days. Why is different?
Because it still was a nest to find among all the
one of the answers. What you said? So
8 is a nest. 8 is not ordinary. It's above nature.
That's the number.
Right.
But we not celebrate another day just because of one number. So you're right that 8 is a number that is above nature. That's why Brit Milah is the 8th day. So there's a lot of things that we have 8 that is above nature. So Chanukah is the 8. Shmini Atzeret is 8, is above nature. But the miracle was for 7 days. But if you can try to answer, almost every answer you're going to give going to be a valid answer because it was said. You have 1,000 answers to it. So whatever you're going to guess, I'm going to give you some of the options. Like you say, finding the Pach Shemen. Everything was Tameh. To find one Tahor is nest for itself. Another say, that's the miracle of the war. They won the war. That it was impossible to win. And they won. So the first day we celebrate for the war. Another 7 days for the miracle of the oil. Some say no, when they pour the oil, they pour not all of it. They knew they're going to have 8 days. So every day just put 1/8 of what needed. And it was lit, this 1/8 made it for the whole day. So every day, instead of, let's say, being 2 hours, it was 24 hours. So it was enough for all of this time, only from 1/8 of the portion of the oil. So it wasn't enough of this. Some say they pour all of it and the jar refilled by itself. That's nest from the first day. So they give a lot of answers. One of the answers is just to show us in our life that we live in miracles. Ramban say that a person not going to have part in Am Israel until he believes that everything happened to us is a miracle. Not only the open miracles. Yes, I was in a tank, they shot at us, everything was fire, I was saved. Nothing. Of course, that's open miracle. Like split in Yam Suf. But everything happened to us every day is a miracle. How? So the first day we celebrate, not because they found the jar, not because of the actual thing that oil can burn. Of course oil can burn. That's why I was born to the world, that oil can burn. Why not water? If you put here a wick and light it, not gonna be lit. Why? Because it's water. So we can tell you what scientifically it's not gonna be burned, it's not oil, it's not, it's not like propane, gas, that can be, it's like, how you call it, שמן בעירה, איך אומרים את זה? בעירה, יש לו... Flammable. But something else is not. But this for itself is miracle. Hashem created in the world, there's going to be a hidden miracle that some stuff, some liquid can burn for a long time. Some for less. Some can make a lot of damage. Some can make a lot of benefits for us. You can cook with gas. It's just air that was closed somewhere and it became liquid. And now when it goes out, you can put a fire and here you can cook. So we celebrate for this idea that oil can be flammable. And that's, maybe people are going to say, of course it is. That's nature. But nature is Nes. Because if you look, the gematria, the numerical value of the word Elohim, name of Hashem, is the same numerical value of the word Hateva, the nature. Both is 86. Why? To show us that nature is Hashem. We think, there is Hashem, there is the nature. No. Nature is Hashem. Hashem made the nature. So everything in nature is a miracle that Hashem created in doing the creation. Just we got used to it. Wake up in the morning is a miracle. Being able to see is a miracle. Everything we have, close our hand, open. How many muscles work every time we do something like this? We go to the bathroom. Know how many muscles are working when we just do this simple act? While we are sleeping, is our heart continue and the stomach continue. Everything is still working. And we produce electricity in our body. Everything is a miracle. We just got used to these miracles, but it is a miracle. So we celebrate the first day of Chanukah just to show us, like the first out of the 8, the other 7 is for the oil that leads for another 7 days. The first one, that oil can be burned, is just to show us that we not celebrate only for open miracles, Nes Galui, also for something that is not visible, that we forgot that is even a miracle. And there is a very famous story in the Gemara that the one time Rabbi Aviram ben Dosa was one of the tzaddikim, and he saw his daughter in Erev Shabbat, a little after Shkia, saw she is crying. He said, why are you crying? He said, listen, I messed up. I prepared the candles for Shabbat. And instead of putting oil, I put vinegar. Meaning right now it's on, and we speak at the time that there was no electricity. The only light of Shabbat is Shabbat candles. That was the reason that Chachamim made takana to light candles of Shabbat, is to have light in Shabbat, to have oneg Shabbat. So she say, right now is lit, but in few minutes it's going to be off. We're going to be in dark, and we need to eat dinner of Shabbat. So that Shabbat, in darkness. She was crying. She said, I messed up. It's my problem. There was 2 brothers. I took one of them. And he told her, why are you crying? It's not a problem. מי שאמר לשמן וידלוק, יאמר לחומץ וידלוק. Who say that oil is flammable? Hashem. The same one can decide that vinegar is going to be flammable. Simple as that. That's, oil is a miracle. So what's the problem for Hashem? Hashem have cannot do it? Oh, that's vinegar now. It's out of my limb. No. I can make the oil to lit. I can make the vinegar to lit. And the Gemara say that the whole Shabbat, the candle was on until Motzai Shabbat, and they light from this the Havdalah candle. Wow. Even more than oil. Why? Because when you live in this mindset that everything happening in life is a nes from Hashem, and you have complete trust in Hashem, that's really going to happen. So we celebrate, that's one of the answers, that you celebrate one of the days of Chanukah just for this concept, to understand everything is a nes. Everything happened to us is nes. Sometimes we realize it. Unfortunately, sometimes is when something is messed up. So everything is function, Baruch Hashem, no worries, all good. But when something happens, when a person cannot go to the bathroom, oh, now I can appreciate it. That's why we say Asher Yatzar every time after. We praise Hashem, we thank Hashem, even before Chas v'Shalom something will happen. We say, שאם יסתם אחד מהם, או ייפתח אחד מהם, אי אפשר להתקיים אפילו שעה אחת. If one of them going to be sealed, or one of those that need to be sealed going to be open, you cannot stand for 1 hour. Or when we wake up in the morning, we say, פוקח עיוורים, I can see. Of course I can see. But not everyone can see. I can walk. I have clothing. So many brachot we say for this very common and simple things, but it's not that simple. That's what Judaism come to tell to the world. It's not simple. We say, Modeh ani lefanecha melechai v'kam shechzana b'nishmati. I woke up in the morning, thank you. I woke up, and another 6-7 billion people woke up. Yes, but it's a miracle. It's a miracle that happens every day to a lot of people, but it's a miracle. So that's what Chanukah come to show us. This is a miracle. And the 8th, like you said before, the number 8 is come to show us that nature is above nature. So we got used to nature, and there is sometimes, like Am Israel in the desert, there is something above nature, supernatural. But this is nature. We just got used to it. So for us, it's like nothing is normal. Chanukah comes to tell us that no, it's not normal. Light is something we need to thank for. To be thankful for Hashem for these simple things. And to appreciate these things that we are able to light the Chanukah, to be with our family. That we are able, even 2,000, almost 2,500 years after, Am Israel is still high, despite everything happened to us. Even in the Holocaust, they light the candles of Chanukah. When it wasn't make sense, you say, Allah Nisim, thank you Hashem, light, what light? They kill you. They kill 6 million of you. But Am Israel will not look at the present. Will not say, oh, now is bad. No. Yes, now is not pleasant. Now it's very hard. Now it's very painful. But we look in a macro. We look in a broad view and we say, right now maybe it's not good. There will be a time it's going to be good. A few years later, established the state of Israel. Baruch Hashem said more than 75 years we are there. So still there is problems. There is people שעומדים עלינו לכלותנו. They try to destroy us. But we light the candle of Chanukah and say, no, the light is by us. We're going to fight the darkness with light. Only with that light. With one candle you light, you fight the whole darkness of the world. Like the Hashmonaim did, and until today we do the same thing.
And they put a Chanukah in Gaza.
Okay.
A big one.
Yeah. Israel Hashem, they're going to fight their darkness with it. Yeah. They come with the darkness. It's a big darkness. They come with it, and we come just with one candle. If you have a room, it is complete pitch dark. You light one candle, now it's not dark anymore. One candle. So they said, when the ambassador of Israel in the UN, so not this one, like the one more than 30 years ago, he came to the Rebbe, to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he told them, I think it was, at that time, I think it was Bibi Netanyahu. He was there. And he told them, you are going now to Bet HaChoshech HaNitzchi, to the everlasting darkness, there in the UN. But you need to know that in dark place, if you light one flame of hope, of goodness, it's gonna like vanish away all the darkness. So that's what you need to do. Not to fight them, not to curse them, just to bring the light of Am Israel. Bring the light and the goodness of the Torah. That's what you need to do in there. And sometimes we see it. Among all the stupidity that's going in there, and the hatred and the anti-Semitism, one person can say something good about the Torah, like Gilad Ardandu, like many, and it's send away a lot of the darkness. But Hashem, we're going to see a lot more than this. Amen. It's going to say a few halachot of Chanukah, and we finish. So without Hashem, as we say, in 2 days is going to be Chanukah. The first night of Chanukah, we say 3 brachot, and from the second day on, we say only 2 brachot. The first night we say, first bracha going to be Asher Kedeshanu Mitzvotav V'Tzivanu Le'adlik Ner Chanukah. Ashkenazim will say Le'adlik Ner Shel Chanukah. Different minagim, to say Ner Chanukah or Shel Chanukah. The reason of Sephardim Le'adlik Ner Chanukah is because Chanukah, the only mitzvah that we have in Chanukah is lighting the candle. And it's different than Shabbat. Because if you remember, in Shabbat what we say, Le'adlik Ner Shel Shabbat or Shel Shabbat Kodesh. We say the word Shel. So why in Chanukah we not? Because Ladlik Ner Shel is the candle of Shabbat. Meaning in Shabbat there is so many mitzvot. One of them is lighting the candle. So right now we light the candle of Shabbat, which is Shabbat is something for itself. With or without the candles is Shabbat. But Chanukah without candles is not Chanukah. The only mitzvah we have in Chanukah is not Kiddush, it's just lighting the candle. So Ladlik Ner Chanukah. The Ner is Chanukah. It's not the candle of Chanukah. It's the candle is Chanukah. Okay, that's the reason that the Sfaradim do Ladlik Ner Chanukah and not Shel. Ashkenazim do the same like Shabbat. So Ladlik Ner Shel Shabbat, Ladlik Ner Shel Chanukah. In the song of the brachot, is easier to say Shel Chanukah. So you need to do like more silsul to say Ner Chanukah instead of saying Shel Chanukah. The second bracha going to be שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ובזמן הזה, and we can really relate this bracha in our time. Hashem made miracles to our forefathers in this day, in Bayamim Hayem, in their times, but also Bazman Hazeh. Meaning the two explanations to it. One, in those times, but also in our days, we have Nisim. And the second is that in their times, meaning like 2,500 years ago, in this Bazman Hazeh, in this time, meaning in this time of the year, Kafei of Kislev, more than 2,000 years ago. And the third bracha in the first day going to be Shechianu v'kimanu v'gianu l'zman hazeh, like every mitzvah that came after a long time, to say thank you Hashem that we are able, we are still alive to thank you for this, to do this mitzvah, to get to this time. From the second day we say only two brachot. Only L'adlik ner Chanukah and Sha'asa Nisim. Shechianu we not say because we say in the first day. If someone for whatever reason didn't light in the first day, so the second day we say Shechianu. Okay, so it's going to be the first time you light, the first day or any other time. Now, in this mitzvah, like some other mitzvot, men and women are equally obligated. So we know that there is a rule that time-bound mitzvah, women are exempt from this. Like tefillin. Tefillin is only in the day, not at night, only in the weekdays, not on Shabbat. So women are exempt from tefillin. Same with tzitzit. Tzitzit is only in the day. The obligation of tzitzit is only through the day, not at night. So women are exempt from it. Tkiat shofar, same thing. Lulav, same thing. They are exempt. So some do it, but it's not obligation for them. Chanukah, even though it's time-bound mitzvah, it's come only 8 nights from Kafei Kislev, but women was main part in the miracle, similar to Purim. Purim also, Megillat Esther, the miracle was done by a woman, by Esther. Also in Chanukah, the one that initiated the rebellion of the Hashmonaim against the Yevanim was Yehudit. If you remember the story that at their time they had one of the decrees that every woman after her wedding, before she is with her husband, the first night she needs to be with the Greek overlord, the Greek king or the Greek governor of that place. She must be with him, and only then with her husband. Again, they wanted to break the sanctity, the spirit of Am Yisrael. There was one woman who said, I cannot take it anymore. She pretended to really like the idea and be honored to be with the king, with Holofernes, the Yehudit. She was from the Hashmonaim. She was daughter of Hashmonaim, daughter of Yochanan, if I'm not mistaken. And she said, yes, why not? But before, let's make it romantic. She brought a lot of hard cheese and wine. She gave him to eat and then to drink. With all of this, he passed out and she killed him. Yeah, she took his sword, she killed him, and then she hanged his head. She was very strong woman. She took his head, she hanged it on the wall. All the soldiers saw it, they ran away. So that's what started the rebellion of the Hashmonaim. So main part of the miracle was a woman behind the scenes, but she really wanted main part of it. So women are equally obligated in the mitzvah of Nerot Chanukah. So it's not going to be different who's going to light the candles. So of course most people have the minhag that the father light, but it's the same thing if the mother or the father, the husband or the wife going to light the candles. I know some couples, they do one day he light and one day she light the candles. So okay, same thing. So for us Sfaradim, only one light candle for the whole household. It's ner ishu beto. It's one Chanukah. The whole house is exempt. Of course, the couple and the kids, if they are still home, if they are not married. So all of them are exempt from one mitzvah, from one Chanukah. And it doesn't matter who's going to light it. Let's say if the husband is not coming home this night, or is at work, she can light the candle, say all the brachot, and he is exempt by this. He's fulfilled the mitzvah by this. Because there's someone to light. Kid cannot light on behalf of the house if he's under bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah. But above bar or bat mitzvah, even boys, girls, they can light the Chanukah because we are equally obligated. So if let's say in the first night I light the candles and I say 3 brachot, L'adlik ner Chanukah, Sha'asa Nisim and Shechianu, then the second night my wife wants to light the candles, then she gonna say also 3 brachot, because for her it's gonna be the first time this year that she light the candles. Okay, so even though she was exempt, she was like Yotzei Yedei Chova by my candle lighting yesterday, but now she's the first time she light the candles, so she do the mitzvah. Now, as we know, there is difference between Ashkenazim and Sfaradim who light the candles. The kids, when they come from schools, they each one come with his Chanukah and they want to light the candles. The minhag of Sephardim that one light the candle on behalf of everyone. Ashkenazim is each member of the house to light the candle. The boys and the girls, before bar mitzvah, after bar mitzvah, and when they do it also with the bracha. With Sephardim, we can also light, meaning if the kids want to light the candle, of course they can. But it's better for them not to say the bracha. If they are really young kids, do it. It doesn't matter. But above certain age, especially above bar mitzvah, they cannot say the bracha. It's going to be bracha levatala. Because if we are exempt from the bracha, we cannot to go and do the bracha. So it's going to be bracha levatala. If there is a kid that wants to light his Chanukah, go for it. Why not? But without the bracha. You're going to listen to the bracha that the father does, and then you're going to be exempt by this and go light the Chanukah. The last thing is the time of lighting the Chanukah. The best time is Tzet HaKochavim, like about 15 minutes after Shkia. Meaning this week Chanukah is going to be around like 4:45 to 5. That's going to be the best time to light the Chanukah, and to have enough time for it to be lit for at least 30 minutes. From Tzet HaKochavim, 30 minutes. That's the minimum for it to be lit. So those who light to... What? 15 minutes after Shkia, and to have that the candle is going to be on for at least 30 minutes. From the time you light it, for 30 minutes. Now, so those like wax colorful candle that you can buy for $1 for the whole pack, it's not going to be good. It's good for kids, for chinuch, for them to enjoy from it. It's not going to be good because it's not going to last for 30 minutes. Especially not in the last days that you have a lot of candles. So just from the heat of the candles, they're going to melt and fall down. Maybe it lasts for 15 minutes. It's not good for Chanukah, to make the mitzvah. So it's either big wax candle, or the best is oil. And the best is olive oil. The same like in Bet HaMikdash, because we want to commemorate the miracle. The miracle was with oil, with olive oil, so you want also to do it. So if we have olive oil, is the best. If not, so any other oil is better than wax. Even canola oil, something that is oil and it can have like good light. Shabbat, we need the candle to have even more time, because in Shabbat we light way before Shkia, before the time, because we cannot light in Tzet HaKochavim. It's Shabbat already. So on Friday, what we're gonna do? Second candle, we're gonna light it before candle lighting of Shabbat. So we speak about, let's say it's going to be 4:08, something like this, 4:10, going to be lighting the candles of Shabbat. A little before that, we light the candles of the Chanukah. In this time, we need to make sure it's going to be at least for more than an hour for the candles, because it needs to be a half an hour after Tzet HaKochavim. Now, from the time you light until Shkia is 18 minutes at least, and then from Shkia is another 15 minutes, and then another 30 minutes. It needs to be lit for this time. So even those that use wax, this for Shabbat, for the menorah Chanukah of Shabbat, to have it with oil, to have at least like an hour and 15 minutes for it to be like until after Tzet HaKochavim, 30 minutes, and then it's going to be good. Motzei Shabbat is less of a problem because you light it only after the Havdalah, so it's night, so 30 minutes is enough. Baruch Adonai Leolam, Amen ve'amen.